This is gonna be a hot sex night for you guys after this conversation because she's listening right here. Anyway.
Do you want to watch?
Oh,
Just don't make it awkward.
okay,
Yeah.
I won't.
It wouldn't be the first time there's a third person in the room.
Moving on. Hey, my favorite caffeinated, medicated, and never hydrated bestie. It's your favorite nurse, Nurse John, and welcome back for another week of your favorite therapy podcast. I beg your pardon. Bestie, I miss you so much. We're back again for another week, and I'm so excited to introduce to you a new guest for the podcast this week because I know you guys have been waiting for this type of guest. And I know I introduced you guys and I told you I'm bringing all the peace of nursing. And so I did. But they're coming every single week, and you guys are going to be filled with all the questions that you want to ask. But before we head to that, do me a quick favor. And if you're listening to this right now, make sure that you download this episode and all other episodes that you haven't listened to on Apple and Spotify podcasts, and make sure that you leave us a 5-star review, follow us, and turn on notifications so that you can get a notification when a new episode comes out. Also, bestie, if you're wondering what kind of scrub I wear at work as a nursing clinical instructor and when I was working in the hospital, it's Gardmalade, GARDEMALADE. And if you want a discount, use my discount code NurseJohnGM, only one N, NURSEJOHNGM. And also, if you want to check out my merch, it's www.nursejohn.com, and you can sign up to the newsletter so you can get a discount code. Well, Bessie, let's get into it because for this week, I'm so excited to introduce you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, he's ready. Did you guys hear that? His voice sounds so like 50 Shades of Grey. If I close my eyes, can you speak again?
Hi, John. What are you wearing, John?
A sweater?
No. You said you wear your merch. You're
Oh,
supposed to wear that. See, you already can't think.
I know.
Deep breaths.
This is a lot. Oh, Jesus. Even that deep breath. Are you ready, Bessie? Well, I'm presenting to you one of the most popular professions in the nursing environment. Police officer, Mr. Stan. Hey, Stan.
Hi, John.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm really well.
Good. Thank you for coming into my podcast.
I'm super happy to be here. This is new to me. I've never done this before. This is as real and as authentic as it's going to get.
Amazing. That's all I wanted to be because, listen, a lot of nurses are listening right now and healthcare workers and people in general, and they have been waiting for a police to sit down with me because they have got a lot of questions.
I will answer all your questions.
My first question is, why do you speak so calmly?
I do it on purpose.
I feel like this is how us nurses who's chaotic, who thrives in a stressful environment, gets pulled by the officers.
You're very perceptive, so
We start with, we're very perceptive, okay?
You are perceptive, and because we're both in a profession where there is a lot of chaos, if you come into a chaotic situation and you're at a 10 out of 10 yourself, and the situation's at a 10 out of 10, it's going to be very difficult for you to bring that situation down to a level where you can regain control. One way you do that is you come into with calm energy. Despite how chaotic it may seem or be around you, if you come in and you bring this energy that I'm trying to portray now, it served me well.
Not all police officers speaks like this.
No.
Calmly.
I wish they did, and I think if they tried, they could.
Yeah, that's so true. Because first of all, you're a fun guy. I actually know him, you guys. If you're listening to this right now, the only reason why I got this man to sit down with me is because I actually know him. I actually met him for the very first time in a nursing conference cruise ship with his wife. Unfortunately, he is a married man, you guys. Somebody put a ring on it. And guess what, you guys? A nurse put a ring on it. But we'll speak about that later. But yes, I met him on a nursing conference cruise ship. And then his beautiful wife knows me from the internet. And then they also came to one of my trips where I organized a trip in Bali, Indonesia last year, and he was there and his wife, and we had so much fun. And he's such a fun guy. That's why I had to ask him to come down all the way from San Francisco to sit down with me.
John did not pay for my Airbnb. John did not pay for my flight. I came here to see a friend. So I think that's why the connection is real.
Canceled. That's it. Everyone, I say goodbye to my career. I am canceled.
No. I want people to know this is not paid. I get nothing from this other than the pleasure of being in your company.
He's so sweet. You're a sweet guy, Stan. So tell us more about you.
Man, where do we start?
We want to start from the very beginning.
I was born in Moscow.
Moscow,
yeah. My dad is what I call Russian, and my mom is Jewish Russian.
So
technically, I'm half Jewish, half Russian. If we go by Jewish standards, I'm actually fully Jewish because as far as the Jewish rules are concerned, if your mom is Jewish, you are fully Jewish.
And how long have you lived in Moscow?
I lived there from 0 to 11.
0 to 11?
0 to 11.
So a good chunk of your childhood was in Russia.
And then I came here, and from 11 to now, I've been living in San Francisco Bay Area. And so I have my parents and my younger brother and a small family.
Okay, so from 11 till now, you've been living in San Francisco.
Bay Area, yeah. Not exclusively San Francisco, but yeah.
And growing up, how were you raised?
The life at home was good. I had a great childhood. My parents loved me, still do, and I reciprocate that in any way that I can.
Mm-hmm.
They did their best. They were at my age when they brought 2 young kids to this country and they had to start over. So
that's tough. That's an immigrant life.
Mid-30s.
Mm-hmm.
They had their whole life there, education, work, everything, and then they came here. And now, when I think about that, it's mind-boggling because I am now that age, and it'd be so difficult to, let's say, even move to Canada where I could use my language, but they had
it is
very limited English.
It is.
Yeah, it's.
I can relate to that because my mom moved here when she was, I think, 31 by herself. And she had to work her ass off so that she can get me and bring me here. And I only got here when I was 17. It was tough, but I think our parents had to do what they had to do to give us a good life. And we have that good life. And I will always be thankful for my mom and what she had to do.
It's not just gratitude. It's such a gift to see your parents start over and build themselves back up. They showed me what work ethic looks like, and that hard work is not bad, and it's important to have. And they had a purpose, and the purpose was to raise and protect and provide for their 2 young children. Work becomes not really work, it becomes a journey.
You guys, we're getting a little too serious in here, but Stan is very metaphorical, okay? I have learned a lot from him. Stan, you gotta break the seriousness and show them the teddy bear, Stan. I need that.
The teddy bear?
Yeah,
then you gotta jump on this couch with me and we'll cuddle.
You're too funny. So after that, you went to school for sure. Did you want it to be anything else before you become a police?
Absolutely. I was very much into Fast and the Furious.
Fast and the Furious.
Yes, that was a defining genre for my childhood. And so when it came time to think about what I want to do for school, well, you can't go to school to be Vin Diesel. So what's the next best thing? Well, there's no Vin Diesel without the cars.
Right.
So I was really into cars, so I wanted to become a mechanical engineer. I started going into that direction, and there's that journey again. I couldn't see a vision where my physics classes and my calculus classes would lead me to doing something cool. So after 2 years of doing that, I was directionless, and my grades started to slip, not because I couldn't handle it, because I didn't want to do it. And I learned that about myself at that time is for me to be successful at something, I have to believe in it, and it has to make sense to me.
Right. And I think that's how you should be thinking. You need to be doing something that you actually are proud of, something that you actually want to do in your life. In my opinion, the whole purpose of life is just doing things to help you grow. Just like I keep telling you guys, nurses, that if nursing isn't for you and you're not happy in nursing anymore, find another thing that you wanted to do. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as you're happy and you're contented in what you're doing.
I'm going to push back on that just a little bit.
Cool.
So the easiest thing in the world is to give up. When I entered the profession, it's kind of exciting and easy and new because everything is, you're experiencing it for the first time. And then you start to notice all the negatives. Then you start to doubt yourself. Is this for me? Where does this go? Do I have to really live like this for the next 20, 30, 40 years? I'm going to use this as an opportunity to give people an alternative where, again, giving up is easy, but work is just like any relationship. When you first start, it's that puppy love. It's that new love. It's easy. You want to see the other person. You want to be around them all the time. And then that fades. You have to now start working on that relationship. You now have to invest in it consciously, deliberately, continuously to sustain it. So when it comes to the profession, rekindle the relationship that you had with your profession and invest in it. Take classes. Take on more responsibility.
Wait, I feel like I'm on therapy right now. Does anybody else feel like we're in therapy? Okay, Stan, give me the therapy I need right now.
Take on more responsibility. Do more. Get involved. Are you with the union? Are you not with the union? Are you teaching other people? Are you giving back?
So my question to that is, we nurses have dated, have fed our profession, our job. That's what we do. We give things to the extra mile.
Mm-hmm.
But why do we get nothing back?
It's very challenging to have a one-sided relationship. Is there ever a time in a relationship where it is an abusive relationship? And no matter what you do, no matter how many times you clean the kitchen or vacuum the house or take them out on a date, it's not reciprocated. All I'm suggesting is that don't draw the line too soon, right at the first moment when it's challenging. Use the challenge as an opportunity. There's no growth without friction. There's no growth without heat. There's no growth without a little bit of pain. Challenge is good. Friction is good. Use it and create something new. The point I want to send home is things are not perfect anywhere. There's no perfect hospital. There's no perfect shift. There's no perfect combination of people. There will always be issues. Once you accept that, it becomes okay. And now what can you control? Well, I can control my own conduct. I can control how I talk to my patients. I can control how I talk to my leadership, to my coworkers. I can control how much involvement I put into my work, my hospital, my whatever, my relationship. You can control that. And once you start to feel like you have the control back, things will fall back into place. When we feel like have no control over our lives, the world becomes way too big, and then we start to adopt that, what we colloquially know as the victim mentality, where we feel like the world is out to get us. Seize the control back. You are driving the car. Don't just be a passenger. And it's amazing how quickly you'll see results.
Let's just pull back before we go too deep in this. I love it though. I love the way you speak, the way you bring up things, because it's true. I completely understand it better in your perspective, out of the profession too. But going back, what lead you to be a policeman?
The reasons why I became one and the reasons why I still am one are similar but different, because I have experienced setbacks, and it's very easy to look at those setbacks and point a finger at them and say that's the reason why I'm not where I should be or where I want to be. But that's a temptation that should be resisted, because if you allow that, it will consume you. So I learned, for my own sanity, to look at those setbacks and those times when I've fallen as opportunities for growth. It's all about mindset. For example, I'll reveal an example of that. 3 years into my job, I got arrested for drunk driving. That set me back tremendously. I didn't lose my job, but I had every reason to blame everyone else except myself for the predicament that I was in. And because I had good people around me to guide me and to share wisdom, I learned that this was an opportunity. I now have an opportunity to prove myself despite the setback, to show the person that I am. Do you let an experience like that define you for the rest of your life? Is that all I really am? Just some guy who crashed his car and did a bad thing? But now it's a badge of honor for me, because I was able to come back from that stronger than ever. And if I wasn't forced by the pressure of being set back so far to now work on myself and outdo others so I can show that, hey, give me another chance. Let me show you that this is not who I am. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm so immensely grateful for the humbling that I experienced because I needed it.
I think sometimes like life throw us in a circus just for us to realize that, hey, you can actually have a fairy tale that you want, but you just have to realize that you have to get through this circus of things that
you have to do it.
Yeah,
no
absolutely.
one else is going to do it for you.
No one else.
No one.
Nobody else. But it helps to have a support system that is there for you during those hard times, because doing it alone, I don't think you would have survived that.
You're 100% correct.
Since you're a police officer in America, they're asking you, what do you think about a cop? All cops are bad.
Anytime you use extremes, it will lead you down a path of unproductive thinking and put you in a situation where it's like reductive thinking, I think is the right word. Is if you say all cops are whatever you want to call them, that's a shame because there's good people out there and you're dismissing them based on their profession. And you can apply that to other professions. You
Oh, for sure. The same thing in nursing.
You have one bad nurse. You have two bad nurses. Let's say you had a string of bad nurses. Does that really mean all nurses are bad? They don't care. They're callous. They're not sensitive. They're not empathetic. No, we're human beings.
Correct.
The fact that we've even made it this far on this planet is amazing. And to me, if someone says that to me, all I can do, remember, I can only control what I can control. I can't control how they perceive me, but I can control how I conduct myself. And if I conduct myself in such a way where maybe I can change their mind. And if I can't, maybe I can tomorrow. It's okay. And I'll use this opportunity to say this. I wish my profession didn't exist. I wish we lived in a world where there was no need for the police. There was no need for the military. There was no need for rockets and tanks and helicopters. I wish we lived in that world. That sounds like a great world to me. And it's okay to work towards that world, but you have to simultaneously recognize that we're not there yet.
I think you're speaking from this because your wife is a nurse.
She is a nurse.
And she probably complained to you many, many times.
She does.
And before we head down to her complaints, can you please tell us how you guys met? Because people are probably wondering, you probably guys have met in the ER.
We did not.
Okay, well, explain. Tell us, how did you met your beautiful wife?
I met my beautiful wife way before she was even a nurse.
Okay, guys, so confirming that this was not a Grey's Anatomy situation. This is a fairy tale, okay? This is not one of those red flag things.
I met my wife before she was a nurse. I was already in my profession. And it was a great honor of mine to see her grow from the point where I met her to the point where she is. I got to see that transition, and I was a part of it.
His wife is a nurse and also a Filipino, period. Just to put it out there. Next. So they know she's smart already.
She's a lot of things. And that brings me to another point where whenever you're in a situation where you're trying to figure out what to do, unfortunately, the answer is usually the hard thing. The easy thing will usually make the situation worse. The hard thing is usually the thing you don't want to do, but it's probably the thing that's best for you. I got to do hard things with my now wife, and it brought us closer together. Hardship, challenges, obstacles are opportunities for you to create memories together, because now I get to talk about it. I get to say, it could be a joke. It is a joke between us. Like, I wrote all your papers. I deserve the degree. We know that's not real, but it's fun to talk about. You create memories like that.
Like, how did you guys meet? I'm really interested. Was it on the street? Was it Tinder? Was it like arrangedate.com?
We met while we were still both individually in relationships with other people. So we became aware of each other's existence, but there was no room for anything further than that.
Okay. Wow. Oh my God. This is like a
book
talk. Spicy book talk, you guys.
So we started out as friends and acquaintances with overlapping social circles. I knew the person that she was with, and she knew the person that I was with.
Oh my God. I've heard of this. I've seen this.
It's not like an episode of Friends.
No, I've seen this in Netflix.
Yeah?
One of those teen fucking drama. You guys ended up after 10 years.
It sounds like one of the Korean dramas that she wore. She loves the Korean dramas. She'll even like play it in the background, but you have to read the subtitles to understand what's going on. And she'll be on her phone and it's playing in the background. Somehow she still knows what's going on. I don't know how.
All this multitasking. She knows what the fuck she's listening and watching.
So to go back, we started out as friends, and then eventually my relationship ended, and I was a free agent, as they say. I didn't know her status.
You speak like a 60-year-old man.
A free agent?
I love it.
No, that's a sports reference.
Okay, fine.
That's
fine.
not an old guy.
You
reference.
know, I speak Gen Z, right?
Gen Z.
Yeah.
We're like 2 years apart, John. Relax.
Okay, but like I speak Gen Z.
Okay. I guess your age shouldn't dictate which generations.
I'm a millennial.
use.
I'm millennial.
No, we're both millennials. I think I'm an elder millennial.
Geriatric millennial.
Elder.
Geriatric.
So
I've seen you stand up. I've seen you stand up.
my back hurts, yeah, but I do yoga now, so it helps.
I love that.
Yeah.
You should go Pilates with me.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm bringing out his teddy bear side. I'm telling you guys, this man is, though he's metaphorical, he's too serious. I am telling you, he's a teddy bear. I've seen him dance on a club in Bali. It's wild. Anyways, going back.
I need a lot of booze for that. Oh man, the Bali tequila was
amazing. So anyways, we're getting lost in tracking here. So
are.
you met your wife. You were a free agent. What happened next?
I was looking for an in. I was looking for an opportunity to let her know that I was a free agent. And the way I did that is I was working, and I was working in the area of, I think it's called Oracle Park now, or AT&T Park. It's a baseball stadium where the San Francisco Giants play. And at that time, I still used Facebook, and
we still use Facebook.
I use the Messenger just to talk to people. I don't go on it. I don't post. I don't follow anyone. I'm at a point in my life where if I want to show someone a picture or an experience, I will send the particular person that I want to see or share that experience with. I don't want to send it to 300 people who I barely talk to. So if I see something that reminds me of John, I'll take a picture, video, selfie, whatever, and I'll send it to just John.
Why don't you have my iMessage then?
That's a good question. We'll talk about that later.
Cool.
So I was still on Facebook. I saw that she was at this stadium, which was within my area that I was working. And I just messaged her. I said, is that called DMs? DMs, right?
Period. DMs.
I think that was before they were called DMs.
It's still a DM.
Okay.
So you slid on her DMs.
I slid. I casually arrived in her DMs.
Oof, this is you guys, the Gen Z's listening to this, we are being educated in here with some more vocabulary than the ones we know. But he casually arrived.
Yes. And I said,
casually arrived on the DMs. Yeah.
I saw her and I asked a question I already knew the answer to. I was like, hey, are you still at the game? And she responded. She said,
well,
yes.
how did you know that she's not in a relationship?
I didn't. But is that the first thing I should ask? Hey, I'm free. Are you single?
What?
No,
First of all, that's how we get into shit in nursing. The police officer comes to the ER. The police officer is like, oh, do you want to go on a date? That's the first thing they ask. It's not even like, are you single? Can I look at your
I'm not a fan
ring
of that.
finger?
I'm not a fan of that ultra direct approach. It
See,
seems
this is the problem with the police officer. That's why put the red flags on. Shake
I
it.
think it is a red flag when someone is that direct because they're trying to cut the crap and get to the thing they want the most, which is probably your company for a limited amount of time and nothing else.
Yeah, a quickie.
A quickie. It reveals something about their intentions, and I don't think it's a good thing.
So anyways, you ask her, and what happened?
She says she is at the game, and she'll be leaving soon. And all I said was, can I see you on your way out?
Okay.
That's it. That's all I said.
Is she cute, huh?
And she what?
She's cute.
She's cute? Of course she's cute. Yeah, no, of course. So she exits the game, and it's, you know how stadiums let out. There's a lot of people leaving all the time.
That's the most stressful thing ever.
The streets are closed. People are not paying attention, right? Everyone's just going to the train station, to parking, whatever. So I told her, hey, I'll be at this intersection. You won't miss me. And so...
You flirty motherfucker.
So I tried to anticipate exactly when she was coming out, but I basically parked in the middle of the street, and I turned on my lights, and I just stood there.
That sounds like a romantic fucking movie, you guys. Oh,
People are looking because they am I directing traffic? Is there an emergency? What's going on? But there was no emergency.
wait, was it your police car?
Yeah.
Motherfucker, use that car.
She's not the type. She's not impressed by the car or
Good.
the lights or the guns.
And I'm pretty
or-
sure she wasn't. She's
And
probably like, what the fuck is this?
I wouldn't want her exactly. So that was her reaction. That was exactly her reaction because she was expecting to see me, but not like that. And I made
As she
it.
should.
I made it way too much of a scene.
Should have kicked you in the balls and like, what the fuck is
But it created a memory. And she approached me, and we probably spent 10, 15 seconds together. I gave her a quick hug. I said, "Hey, good to see you."
this?
A quick hug. That's it. You got to leave them wanting more.
I knew it.
I said, "Let's hang out. Let's see each other again." And that's it. And then she got back into the crowd of people, and then she took the train home, and that's it. But since that day, we started texting. We had each other's numbers already.
Wait, you guys started texting or you started texting her? Because there's a difference between the two. Because the only time she's going to text you is probably if you texted her.
I imagine I was the first one to initiate, but my memory is foggy on this. I remember that conversation did start after that day in the form of texting. And
You feel confident that she likes you.
there's that arrogance again, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But until I had information to lead me to believe otherwise, I had to assume that on some level she was interested. So we continued texting, and texting turned into let's hang out again. And if you have like 3 more hours, we'll go into all the details of the courting portion of our relationship. And
Can you cut it and give us a summary?
I made a lot of mistakes. And
That's not a good start.
if it was any other person, I don't think she would have stayed with me. But I think because we had a foundation of friendship, that the mistakes that I made were forgiven because she could see that behind the mistakes was a person who had good intentions.
And you also have a badass fucking Filipina.
I knew she was a catch, but I had to prove that I was a catch too.
As you should.
And when I say mistakes, it was not anything criminal or it was like clumsy. For those watching, she is in the room with us.
She is in the room with us, and I was like, girl,
she's throwing up her hands. She's being re-victimized.
She's like, and Stan started telling us in the beginning, like, oh, it looks like we're getting to like victim mentality. Maybe you victimed this girl into thinking you was in that right place.
I wanted to get her used to being next to me when I was sleeping.
Whoa. Whoa. Hold up a sec. My girlies, my besties, if you're hooking up with the police right now, just quit it. Look at this. But it's a successful one. This is like rare, unusual situation. Anyways, so that's what happened. And she still loved you for who you are.
She still gave me another date, yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well,
and I messed that up too. I messed up the first, I think, 3 dates. Yeah.
consecutive?
I actually think so, yeah.
This is going to be a hot sex night for you guys after this conversation because she's listening right here. Anyway.
Do you want to watch?
Oh, I'll join.
Just don't make it awkward.
Okay,
Yeah.
I won't.
It wouldn't be the first time there's a third person in that room.
Moving on. The nurses are like having so much fun in here because 85% of y'all are relating too hard on this.
Despite the faults and the setbacks, this person still sees something in me. And do you want to hear about how I proposed?
How? Do it.
We were hanging out. We're boyfriend and girlfriend. 3 months into our relationship. 2 months. 2 months. 2 months in. She corrected me.
Wait a fucking second. 2 months?
2 months into our relationship.
You proposed.
Correct. But it's how I proposed that's interesting, I think.
Even the 2 months for me is a little
We're
heavy.
at her house, and I think we were drinking again.
Like you haven't even let her process the shit that she just
I
went
had
through.
one after another, after another, after another.
And you're like, do you want to marry me?
Oh no, much.
I would have been like, Give me a fucking damn minute to breathe.
No. Much
give me
worse
a
than that. Much worse than that.
Okay.
Much worse than that.
Come on. Spill it out, police officer.
We're at her house. We're drinking, not heavily, just buzz, whatever. We're young kids after all. And we get into a verbal dispute, a verbal disagreement.
Okay.
No violence, just verbal. And I was not as good at de-escalation and conflict resolution as I think I am now. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So when she raises her voice, what's the easy thing to do? To raise your voice. How dare you talk to me like that? I will match your energy, and I will take it a step higher than that, because that's how fights work, right? You come at me, I come at you, and we fight, and the strongest person wins. I now know that to be not the way to go about things.
And you don't fight a Filipina when she's...
Another thing I didn't know at the time.
Yeah.
So we're fighting, and...
Boy, you had a lot of learning.
Oh, she taught me so many lessons. She
can,
taught me a lesson that night.
She can slap you with her chinelas.
Oh, man.
Anytime she wants to.
She doesn't even have to threaten me with the chinela. She
just
can
the look.
Just the look, correct. See, you knew where
just
I was
the
going.
Look.
Yeah. Like the I'm about to get my chinelas look. So we're in this dispute, and I have the audacity to call her the B word.
Bitch?
Correct. You are being such a bitch right now. I've never seen someone go from like...
Yeah.
I don't even know how to explain it, but...
It's basically facing Satan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mountain Doom, Satan...
In his...
Sauron from
in
Lord
his
of the Rings,
earthly form.
Darth Vader, like just in there.
The worst.
Yes.
A dragon, if you must.
I knew I was in trouble when she said, "What did you call me?"
You're done.
I think Dave Chappelle had a skit on this, like when things are about to get real, things got real. She said, "We're done. No one calls me a name like that ever.
No.
I'm going to take you home right now. You're leaving. We're done. This is over."
And she still wanted to take you home?
That was her way of, I don't know, really sending it home.
Man, I would have thrown you out the fucking door.
I immediately started backtracking and trying to fix it, apologizing. Nothing was working. Nothing. It was like throwing a tennis ball against a wall. It just kept bouncing off. Didn't even leave a mark or a dent. Zero progress. And we, again, lived about 30 minutes apart. From the moment where I knew I messed up to the moment where we were at my house, I just kept trying and trying and trying. Every which way that I could think of in that moment to express how sorry I was. One of the things that she says, why do something you know you're going to be sorry about? Like, don't be sorry. Just don't do it in the first place. You know it's not the right thing to do. That's not a get out of jail free card to say sorry.
So she humbled you in the Jesse word.
Correct. Another example of being humbled. And I'm super grateful for it.
She basically ate you and she left no crumbs.
Correct. It's like I never existed in the first place. Now we're at my house. I've been apologizing 40 minutes straight, maybe 45 minutes straight, in all different ways and all languages that I knew. Nothing was working. And the only thing I would get back from her was either silence or...
she gave the silent treatment.
Oh, yeah. And get out of my car. I don't want to see you again. We're done. All these final statements giving me no room to like wedge my way in there. Nothing conditional. It was just all final statements. And I knew, because we were friends before and we were official for 2 months, I had enough knowledge to know that if I leave this car, I will never see her again. I will never get a response back. This will just be a memory. This will be a quick relationship and that's it. And maybe I'll remember it, maybe I won't. So I had one Hail Mary. I said, I'll get out of the car, but only if you get out of the car with me. And there was hesitation, rightfully so. And it's like 2 a.m. in front of my parents' house, moon, night, warm summer. She gets out of the car. There's evidence of crying on my face for sure.
As you should be crying.
As you should. And I'm just looking at her and I'm having this flashback reel of everything that we've experienced so far. And I knew I didn't want to allow it to end, but I can only control what I can control. I didn't have that wisdom back then, but I knew I had to do something. So
What did you do?
there was
the
a
fuck
moment of silence between us,
Mm-hmm.
which, as they say, felt like an eternity. And I had this bright idea of getting down on one knee and proposing to her.
You gaslit her.
I know. I showed her that I mean it. And there was no other way I could show it other than that.
So you're
I didn't have a ring, though. I didn't have a ring, so let me finish. I had a keychain in my pocket that had those rings that you keep your keys on. I took that out, and I used that as my ring. I said...
And that shit probably so big, too.
Oh, yeah.
She could have put it as a bracelet.
Correct. I got down on one knee. The moon is behind me. Her face is in front of me, elevated, because I'm looking up at her. I said, will you marry me? Another eternity goes by. And she says, yes.
I need a fucking minute.
Yeah. She can get on camera. She can confirm this.
Girl, you said yes? I said maybe. She said maybe.
No, she said yes.
Well, I would take a nurse judgment over a police at this moment right now. Wow.
I had to find a way to convey how I feel without words in a way that was true and authentic, that a person who's really mad at me and has broken up with me changes their mind. That's a tough thing to do, and I've never done it before, and I don't think I'll be able to do it again. Because
and you know what I can say? That's true love.
That's
because
how I knew.
She could have dumped you.
Correct.
She could have dumped you, but
it was mutual true love. I knew
it was a lot more love from her side. I'm telling you that.
As a Filipino representative.
Thank you. And she experienced all this traumatizing crap that you brought her. And at the end, she didn't even probably think twice. She's like, yeah, I'll marry you, motherfucker. After you call me a fucking...
And that is something, yeah.
And you know what? You know why probably she say yes? Now you're my bitch. The difference between a nurse and a police perspective is that you guys have such power compared to us.
I disagree.
If people...
I disagree.
You can disagree, but this is off my opinion. Because
that's fine.
Because a lot of nurses have experienced violence in the ER. Just because we don't have the power and the authority that they think we don't have. But you put a doctor in front of that patient, respect. Nurses.
I see the reference that you're making.
Nurses, no respect. But again, for a police officer, again, it's different. Though there is a level of disrespect that you guys get, it can't be compared to the disrespect we get as nurses. Because you guys have a power and an authority. And I'm not speaking too deep of things in here. It's just comparing with the power that us nurses hold and a police hold. Because when it comes
perception of power, perception of authority.
Exactly. People sees it differently. And the respect they give to you guys is very different with the respect that you give to us. And it has been a long time problem. You can ask your wife. She's an ER nurse.
I suspect that the reason that perception exists is not because they're recognizing some power or authority that I have. I think it's people have a skewed perception of the profession, period. And that respect, I think, is mostly out of fear because they think that we will hurt them somehow if they don't behave a certain way.
Exactly. And
which is not true because I'm not James Bond. I don't have the power to do whatever I want outside the law.
I guess it's not true, and it's also true because it happened, again, not you, but other.
I understand. The narrative is
it's very different.
Yes.
But again, you don't see often enough nurses fighting patients because they were disrespected. Otherwise, we lose our license. We cannot even say anything. Even the smallest thing we said to patients are recorded in a way that it's against us, even though what we all wanted was their safety and to give them the help they need. But again, compared to the police, I think it's very different. Like, again, you said it's perception.
If I can deconflict that with words and analogies and metaphors. I'd rather do that.
You know what? You're lucky. Imagine I'm just a stranger.
Mm-hmm.
You're very metaphorical, and you say these things in a way that people needs to sit down and listen to you.
It interrupts their thought a little bit, where it's like,
Yeah.
what are you saying?
But but I think in the public, I don't think they're gonna be able to do that. They're either like
I
just
think they can.
fight or flight situation, because
Maybe not every time, but I choose to believe that people are more capable than we may think they are.
Have you ever not given a ticket to a nurse who's speed driving going home from a night shift?
I've done both. I've done both, given a break and issued them a citation.
Thank you.
It's all about what's my goal when I pull someone over? Is my goal to make them feel really bad about what they did? Is my goal to punish them? Am I the judge, jury, and executioner where I decide that you deserve to pay a $400 ticket because of this one thing you did? And the answer for myself is I'm trying to accomplish to make you slightly more aware of the bad thing you did. You may have no idea that you actually did it. Or maybe you're going home after a night shift and all you want to do is get home, get in your bed, and sleep. For the love of God, more than 4 hours. I get it.
This looks like coming from experience. She probably got home. She's like, please, I just want to fucking sleep for the love of God.
If I pull you over and you make me feel that you know what you did and that you agree with me that doing what you did is probably not the best, if your goal is to get home, because you can't get home if you wreck. You can't get home if someone else pulls you over and actually gives you a ticket. You can't do any of those things if you drive like that. How many people in your audience turn down the volume when they're parking? You can't even park with music in the background and you turn down the volume.
No, it's just a unconscious habit that we do. I don't know why I do that. And not because I'm overstimulated. It's just unconscious habit that when I'm about to, like, I just have to do it. I don't know what's the scientific explanation to it. I just have to do it.
Human beings are only really good at doing one thing at a time.
Not the scientific shit again coming from him.
We like to pretend that we can multitask, but you can't.
Oh, baby, please don't come for us like that.
You can't. You cannot.
We will stop you right there.
You can try to stop me all you want.
Police officer.
You cannot do two things effectively at the same time.
Sir, you are in my hospital. You will listen to me. This is my quartier.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. For all my nurses, baby, we can multitask. Here's an example. I can have a phone in my ear like this while talking to a doctor, getting a verbal order while cleaning shit and changing someone's diaper.
Sure. But
my other feet is holding another patient who's trying to punch me.
I guarantee you, someone's going to say something in your ear and you'll be busy doing whatever else. You're like, oh, can you say that again? Because you missed it.
Oh, baby, no. I got it. The first time. I got it the first time. It was furosemide, 20 milligrams IV Q2.
Sounds like a little bit of arrogance to me.
Well, we got... I mean, if the police officer has some arrogance, so do we.
That's okay. It's not about not having arrogance. It's maybe pausing and recognizing that you are being arrogant and choosing what to do about that.
See, now I know the toxic relationship between a nurse and a police. This will never work because we see things different. I think like the trauma is the same, but we see things differently. Because you don't see that we can multitask. I've held 2 Foley catheters.
Yeah.
And another thing in my feet. To wear like an octopus, baby. And even worse sometimes. Anyways, moving on. And you're not going to question that we can multitask. We know that.
I want to push back so bad. But you know what? I am a guest. This is your show. And just like with my wife, I will deconflict by, you can have this.
It's not that you can have this.
You can have this.
We're right. You're wrong.
You're right. You're absolutely right, John.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I know for a fact that I am.
You are absolutely right. You're always right. I love you. Sorry,
I love you too.
I transitioned back to my wife.
Remember?
Wife mode.
Remember? Happy wife.
Happy life.
Thank you. Moving on, we are going to ask you questions the people in the internet want to know about a police officer. Are you ready for the hot seat?
Sure.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
First question. What happens to all the weapon confiscated?
Oh man, it depends. Is it evidence? Is it property for safekeeping? Is it relevant to the case at all? It really depends.
Okay, but do you keep it? Have you ever
I
kept
don't.
someone? Have you ever kept someone's weapon?
That would be illegal, and no.
Okay. Next question. I want to be a cop. What is the mental health is like inside the force?
It can be fucked. And
He's gonna hit us
Is
with
it-
metaphorical shit.
no, I'm not. It can be fucked. It depends. It really does. It's like being the new kid in the school. And what's that? There's that analogy again, right? Sorry.
The analogy never. And you know what, guys? I actually love this because we got a calm cup in here. Okay, so
It's like any other social situation. You're the new kid. You have to prove yourself. Some people will assume that you
But-
can't do it, so you have to prove yourself. It's just like any other high stress, high functioning job. If you want to arrive in a new environment like nursing or police or fire or anything like that, the way your focus should not be, I need to make new friends and I need people to like me. The way you accomplish that is by being good at your job. And then people automatically like you and want to be near you and gravitate towards you because you're competent and you're there to do your job. That's what everybody wants. And then you become friends naturally just by being in the same environment. But it's not a social club. You shouldn't be there to make friends. You should be there to do your job, do right by your patients, and the friendships will come naturally.
Next, what are some of the creepy or eerie stories that you had during your service?
Anytime you're in an empty building and you don't know what's inside the building and it's nighttime and there's noises and you're looking for someone who might be waiting for you and you don't know where they are and it's a professional game of hide and seek.
That's creepy shit.
It's creepy.
See, that's creepy shit. It doesn't have to be a ghost, but that to me is scary, and that's why I could never be a police. I don't think I could ever do that. Next, do you really use handcuffs during sex?
No. It sounds great on paper,
Mm.
but in practice, not good.
You guys never tried it?
I think we did early on, and it's not as cool as it seems.
Have you ever dressed in your police uniform and had sex with your wife?
No, because I don't associate my uniform with sexy
Okay,
vibes.
but like, come on. People in Halloween dress up as a police because it's like sexy.
Yeah, they do.
Like just nurses, they dress up like sexy nurses. If we don't look sexy,
I think role play.
role play.
Oh, who's a dirty little nurse?
Yeah,
Oh, you'll do anything to get out of this ticket.
to
That's
give me my Ativan. No,
Oh,
kneel down.
but I want it.
There you go. See,
Can I please have that event? I'll do anything just to take the edge off, please.
baby, I'll give you propofol if you want.
I wish I knew what that was, but I want it.
Oh, it's better than Ativan, baby. It'll knock you the fuck down. You'll not wake up.
And I won't be able to fight back.
No.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, I'll be helpless.
Yes, Zaddy police.
Mm.
You guys listening to this are just. Next question. We should move on to
We
this
should go from that to like police brutality. That would be a natural segue.
What sort of things or situation do you not involve yourself in?
Unethical situations. Here's an example. Let's say someone passes away
Mm?
and people don't know that someone passed away. And someone calls, can you check on Uncle so-and-so? And then you check on Uncle so-and-so. You get there, you search the house, you find the uncle. It would be highly unethical to start going through the uncle's things. I have never done it. I don't know people who do it or who would do it. We wear cameras, and I'm one of those people that's very grateful for our cameras because it's a tool that allows us to prove to the world that we actually do the right thing all the time, even when nobody's looking, or at least we try to. It would be unethical to go through uncle's stuff. It would be unethical
Cool.
to open up his drawers.
Good. Next. Tell us one of the most unhinged story you've ever experienced at work.
It has to do with a hospital. It was
Oof.
a patient
Mm-hmm.
got out of their room. I forget what the patient was in the hospital for, but they were having a troublesome day. And they climbed into the ceiling, kind of like this, right?
Oh,
You
like
can-
Mr. Smith.
Mr. Smith?
That's when I know that you don't really look at my social media stuff. No, it's okay. No, Stan. You don't have to.
I'm not going to explain myself.
You don't have to.
No.
It's just
It's good.
it's hurtful to think that your wife watches me. Anyways,
Do you need
it's-
me to watch your content in order for us to be friends?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
If that's important to you, then I will do that.
Yes, officer.
Anyway, Mr. Smith climbed into the ceiling,
He climbed into the ceiling.
and he was in the ceiling of the radiology department. And Mr. Smith was so unhinged and so reluctant to come down that he walked around the ceiling, breaking everything. Because I don't know if you've ever been in that ceiling.
Oh yeah, I've been.
It's not. Are you Mr. Smith?
No, I have tried to find Mr. Smith in the ceiling.
Right. So did I. And Mr. Smith, until we could figure out where he was, broke a water pipe of hot water. So imagine radiology department, it's being unused, but all these machines, and then there's hot water like a waterfall under high pressure coming down from the ceiling onto the floor. And it's like, I don't know what's electrified, what's not. Is it safe to stand in the water? I don't know any of these things. And Mr. Smith is just somewhere breaking stuff. And then the whole department is flooding with water. And there's no end in sight. And guess what? It's the radiology department. It's underground. The radio doesn't work, so I can't effectively communicate with my coworkers to let them know what I need, when I need it, where I need them. People are responding. It's chaos. There's alarms going off. There's maintenance people are running around. There's hospital people are running around. And Mr. Smith is still in the ceiling, and we don't know where he is.
You know what? I want to say thank you for telling this story, because people don't believe me when I tell them that I have been in the ceiling and I have found patients in the ceiling. They never believe me that people are capable of this.
They're capable of that and more.
Oh, worse. But the ceiling thing was a mess.
It's a huge mess.
A freaking mess.
It was untold amounts of damage, and there's nothing you can do about that. Mr. Smith is not going to pay for it. Mr. Smith is not going to do community service for it.
No, Mr. Smith just wants to find the alien that he thinks was trying to catch him or find him. That's it. Love that. Next question. Ooh. Does your wife, your nurse wife, call you daddy instead of officer?
No.
What does she refer you to? The sexiest word that she referred you to.
The sexiest thing that my wife can do, it's the sounds that she makes that are authentic and real and let me know that she's enjoying herself. That's the sexiest thing she can do.
Next question. Okay.
I like the sounds you make too, John.
Oh, thank you. I can make you listen to it later.
Okay.
In private. Not here.
Can my wife watch?
Just between us.
Okay.
And she can join after.
I respect that.
Thanks. Next question. Being one of the P's of nursing, why are you guys toxic for us?
I believe that people tend to be products of their environment. And if you're in a toxic environment or a profession that has a lot of toxic elements to it, you become susceptible to those elements. And that's when you need to develop coping mechanisms to process that in a healthy way. So the toxicity does not leak into your personal life and does not change the person that you are.
Thank you, Ms. Russia, for answering your question. Next contestant, please. He is answering these questions with so much... Oh my God. Okay. Thought of it. Okay. Next question. How are you dealing with police brutality in today's society? Now we're going deeper down the rabbit hole.
It's a good question. How do I deal with it personally? Well, I don't engage in it. How about that?
Period.
But as a whole, as an institution, the police and how they conduct themselves and the type of policing that they do is a reflection of how society wants to be policed. And it's a very political thing, and it changes with times. Things that were acceptable 50 years ago to society at large, oh, that's okay. Cops can totally shoot people in the back that are not armed and maybe just running away. That's no longer acceptable. And that's a good thing. So the fact that there's so much scrutiny and attention to that part of policing is a good thing. It shines a light on a problem, so now it can be fixed. And the way you fix it is with more training, more education, more opportunity for people to be confident in their craft of policing so they don't have an emotional response and overreact, which looks like police brutality on TV.
Next question. How do you keep yourself sane when you see so many horrible, bad things in your line of work?
I lean on
Your wife.
on my wife, on my support system.
Because she's the prettiest and she calms you down
She does.
and she gives you the reassurance that you are doing great and that she cooks for you, she massages you, she gives you everything that you needed. And that's a nurse wife. When you should be doing that. Do you massage her?
No,
Do you massage her foot?
I have
Do you tell her how shitty your day is?
sometimes.
You're not supposed to. Because it's not a shit massage. What do you do in a situation where she is so tired from her 16-hour shift? How do you treat her?
I allow her to tell me directly or indirectly what is it that she needs, or maybe she doesn't need anything and she just wants to be left alone.
Do you do that?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Leave her alone. Anyway, so how do you deal with that horrible things that you've seen at work?
I accept them as things that will always happen,
Period.
and it's okay that they happen. And I have to accept that whether I like it or not, they likely leave a mark on me in some way. They probably leave some kind of scar that I may not be aware of now, but maybe later I will be.
Mm-hmm.
And I try not to dwell on those moments, and
Period.
I try to just accept that they happened and move on.
I like this because this came from a social worker, from a pharmacist, from a psychiatrist that I interviewed, and they all have the same answer of like not dwelling on it and really accepting the thing that I just had a shitty fucking shift.
That's it.
That's totally fucking fine.
That's okay.
And it was a really fucking shitty day.
Mm-hmm.
I think the more you deny that you had a shitty day or things was not going well, the more you deny it, the more it gets worse and the more it affects you. So the more you accept the fact that it happened, it was shitty, it was fine that it happened, the more you feel better about yourself and the situation and you can deal with it. Next question. Do you sometimes regret becoming a police officer?
Yes and no. I considered maybe there's other ways that I can make a living for myself. But then I came back and I chose to fall in love with my job again. And those thoughts have not come back since.
Next, is it true that you have a monthly quota to ticket people? Please answer this because I have a question to this. Because you...
Maybe some things are black and white. And to answer that, there is no quota.
Nope. I can tell you right now, between the 25th of the fucking month till the first,
I don't know.
You guys put yourself in the most sketchiest fucking parts of, I don't know where you guys can be in the roof, you guys can be anywhere, but you try to find a way to ticket anyone and all of us.
Where I work, that the quotas are not a thing. It may seem like that sometimes when there's like initiatives being put forth by the government where March is Traffic Safety Month or something like that. And maybe during that month, we're more encouraged to do extra traffic enforcement.
You guys every
but
month.
There's no quotas.
Every single end of the month, you guys are everywhere. It looks like every single buddies are out there just driving around.
No quotas.
Spinning.
Quotas.
No quotas?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you just like protecting your...
They're illegal. You can Google it. You don't trust me? You can trust Mr. Google.
No, I trust you. I trust you more than Google.
No quotas.
And if you have one last message to the people, to the public, to future police officer or for people to thinking of going to police academy and be a police, what would you tell them? Talk to them right there.
If I had to say one thing is choose greatness, choose to do hard things, choose to love, choose to be happy. Strength is not the ability to put someone down. True strength is only evident when you lift other people up. That's a true sign of strength. And if you want to be strong, really strong, you got to lift a lot of people up. And you have to leave a positive mark on the world and leave the place a little bit better for those that come after you.
Hashtag blue team. His wife is crying. Oh my God. Because he is actually running for a mayor in San Francisco. No. Well, you know what, Stan? I love you so much. Thank you for sitting down with me and giving us the pep talk. in a point of view in a life of a police officer, because I think I made this podcast because I want to give different professionals a space where they can express themselves and they can tell public and those people who don't understand the things that we have to go through and the things we do and only know basic stuff and the things they've seen on the internet. And I think it's very important that a police officer sits down with us, and you did. So thank you so much.
Thank you for talking to me, John, and thank you for being my friend.
Of course. Are you ready to drink?
Tequila?
Tequila. Cool.
I can outdrink you.
San Francisco Police. Thank you guys so much for listening to us. And I am so happy that we have another successful episode of this podcast. And again, Bessie, before we end this, do me a quick favor. Make sure that you download this episode and all the other episodes that you have not listened to. And make sure that you follow us in Apple and Spotify podcasts. Leave us a 5-star review. And also, don't forget to check out my merch, www.nursejohn.com. And again, wait, what's up, Stan?
I want to, thanks to my wife again, who's taught me how to be more thoughtful, is I want to give you a small gift. It's a patch. It's a patch from our department. It's a commemorative patch. It's not the patch we normally wear, but it has the colors of red, white, and blue that are emphasized on here. And I don't know if those colors mean anything to you. Maybe one day they will.
No, that's my flag.
Yeah?
That's my flag.
Okay.
That's the Filipino flag.
I guess more than one flag have the colors of red, white, and blue. But anyway, just to commemorate my attendance this podcast, my casual arrival.
Your casual arrival in my DMs.
Yes. So I just want to hand this to you.
Thank you so much. Look. And you guys, maybe if nursing doesn't work out, I'll be a police officer. But let me think about that.
I think you'd be good at it.
You think so? I'm really gentle.
And we need that.
Yeah. And you're gentle.
I can be.
Yeah, I need to feel your gentleness after this episode. Thank you guys again so much for listening to this podcast. And I will see you again next week for another episode of your favorite caffeinated, medicated, and never hydrated therapy podcast. I beg your pardon. Goodbye, you guys.